I'm very excited to be here. It's Lucy Whittington, for those of you who don't know me and therefore will not recognise my voice. And I am here with Dee. And say hello, Dee.
Hi there, everyone.
And Dee is coming to us, it's going to sound very glamorous, live and direct from New York today. So it's just afternoon tea time for Dee, but it is more like wine o'clock for us. But I am not drinking, so don't worry. So I'm just going to say welcome. We've got quite a few people here already, so I'm just seeing who's on. We've got Annick and Gertie and Gail and Gosia and Jean and Karen and Linda and lots of people. So hi everyone. I'm just going to take care of a little housekeeping-y tech stuff so that Dee knows that you all know how it all works. So we will be keeping you on mute for this call, so if you're coughing and sneezing, don't worry. We're not going to hear you. But Dee might want to kind of ask you a couple of questions and get you to put your hands up. So for those of you who know how to do that, put your hand up now. And for those of you, yay, well done, Annick and Gossie. And those who don't, on your little control panel on the right-hand side, you've got a little sort of screen thing that's come up. There's this little hand symbol. And if you just click on it, that means you put your hand up. Brilliant. Lots of hands going up there. Excellent. So if, we just kind of want to do the whole show of hands thing. Obviously, we can't see you because you're where you are and we're where we are. So that's how we do it on the webinar. So that's really helpful. Great. So that's some tech stuff taken care of. Another thing I will say is that we are recording this webinar. So if you have to duck out for any reason, then obviously you'll miss 2 minutes of brilliant content if you do that, but if you do, don't worry, you can listen to it back. And I've also seen that some people have spotted where there are questions you can post in as well. So you can put comments and questions in there. Dee has got a lot of content to cover, I know, but obviously if you didn't understand something and want us to just explain it, that's a great place to type it in as we go along. So, who am I and why am I here with Dee, and who's Dee as well? Let me just tell you. My name is Lucy Whittington and I help people become business celebrities, and I do that by helping them find their thing and get famous for it. So I work with coaches, speakers, authors, small business owners, anyone really who knows that they want to do their thing, which is what they find effortless and easy and are brilliant at, and get out there and get famous for it. So this is something I've been doing for 2 or 3 years now, and it's what I'm brilliant at as opposed to just being good at marketing, which is what I was doing before. I still do marketing, but it's really for people who want to stand out and get noticed and be business celebrities. So I know, and I know a lot of you have met me this way, I know that speaking in public, in front of people, is a really brilliant way to get famous for what you do. So once you've found your thing and you know what it is you do that's brilliant, then getting out there and sharing it is so important, because then you can actually help people. It's one thing to be amazing and know what it is you do that's brilliant, but sitting at home on your own, being amazing, not helping so many people. So I love speaking. I know many of you are nodding your heads now because you had to sit through me do that for a day or 3 days. But I love speaking because nothing brings you closer to your people, your market, your community, the people you can help, however you want to call it. Nothing brings you closer because you're right there in the room. Yes, I know I am now stating the absolute obvious, but it's just the best way to connect with people and really engage them and get them to understand who you are and get them to really see you do your thing and feel that passion. It's such a great environment, and it allows people to really see you doing your thing. So I love to speak, and well, I love to speak now, I should say. I used to actually hate public speaking to the point of being extremely good at allowing others the opportunity to shine in their spotlight, as I would put it, because I hated it so much. I would go to any lengths whatsoever to never ever do it. I remember when I did my MBA, we would have to do presentations, and I would literally write a script and have to learn it. And if I lost my place in my script, it was, I just wanted the ground to open up and swallow me. I was not a confident speaker at all. But when I started doing my thing, I knew immediately that I was going to have to run workshops. I was going to need to stand up in front of people at networking meetings or, speak at events and run my own events. And I wouldn't advise this, which is why I've got Dee in this evening, but I went for the whole, okay, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to jump into the deep end. And my first talk I did was to 30 people, and the next one was to 300. Now, I'm not recommending this as a way to deal with your monkeys, because the monkeys are still there, very much so, but I kind of jumped in and just, through trial and error and practice, got better at speaking. And now, with hindsight, I recognise that there's a much easier way to do that, and that's to get someone like Dee to really help you. So that's why I've invited Dee to share with you today how to deal with those monkeys, how to understand what they are and what they feed off, and therefore what not to feed them, and how to deal with it. Because I know for many of you, you're where I was. You're at that point of being, afraid of doing it or petrified, or even if you're already doing it, it's not up there on your things you love to do list. It's there on the necessary evil because it helps my business list, but I don't actually like it. So wherever you are, if you're brand new to speaking or you've been doing it for a long time but you still don't really enjoy it, to the point where now I absolutely love speaking, and people will come up to me. I actually had a speaking gig last night, and people come up to me and they go, "You really enjoy this, don't you?" I'm like, yes, it almost feels bad that I'm asking people to listen to me because I'm having so much fun. But that's the stage I've got to now, and I would love for you to get there too, because I'm here to tell you it's absolutely possible, but you don't need to take 2 years of making yourself do lots of speaking gigs to get really good at it like I did, which is why Dee's here. So Dee is a fabulous lady who has been teaching people how to get rid of these monkeys for over 5 years now. She's a fantastic coach and trainer, and she's worked with small business owners through to people in corporates who are giving very important presentations and meetings, and everyone in between. Helps people who just need to stand up and speak at networking. It kind of doesn't matter who you're having to speak in front of. If you find it scary, you find it scary, right? So she is amazing at this. She wrote a book last year called How to Tame Your Public Speaking Monkeys, and it's exactly what she's going to share with you today. I'm very excited because I know that there are more things I can do to just get in that flow of being present with people and delivering your best stuff. So I am now going to hand you over to Dee, who not only is going to share with you some brilliant content in the rest of the time we've got today, she's also going to let you know how you can get some more info from her. I've managed to persuade her to give you some cool free stuff, and for those of you who know this is something you really want to sort out now and get those monkeys under control, she's got something great for you later too. So without further ado, live from New York, we have the amazing, I feel like we should do a big round of applause, and we have the amazing Dee Clayton. There you go. Off you go, Dee.
Yay! Thanks, Lucy. Hopefully you're going to be able to see my screen soon. So there's a bit of technical wizardry that happens at Lucy's end, so that you can see my little monkeys on screen. Hopefully Lucy can hear me saying that as well. Welcome everyone, and thank you very much for joining me live, and I'm really excited to be able to share this information with you. And I think it's just amazing when you get into speaking, however it is, whether it's through webinars or whether it's through presentations, that you can really sort of get up there and do your thing. So I'm just going to practice while I'm waiting for Lucy to pop up my screen on the computer. If you
I'm thinking now, do you want me to share your screen or the... So this is technical now, Dee. You didn't tell me how to do technical. Right.
There should be a give me the screen or something like that. I'll share screen with Dee.
Oh, share screen with Dee. Okay, hang on.
So while Lucy's looking at that, I just want to let you know that I've got a little hands down button. So I'm going to put your hands down. Oops. There we go. Oh, that's brilliant. Well done.
Apparently I'm no longer the presenter.
So, oh, no.
Yay!
This is giving up control.
I've given up control of my own webinar. Okay, I'm going to mute myself now. I feel very sad.
Okay, right. Super. So we've got stuff done, which is great. Hopefully you can all see my little front page now. So let's test the hands up button for me, which is the yellow hands up button. If you can see my screen, pop your hands up, and then we know we've got the technology right. Super, yay! And I've got my hands down button. Thank you, guys. So I'm going to pop your hands down, or you can do it yourself. So if you wonder where your hand's gone, it's me doing it. It's like magic. So let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to do then. Today we're going to cover some different things here. Get my screen. There we are. You know how the control panel will work. I'm going to go through the 3 steps to taming your public speaking monkeys. Obviously, you're not going to have time to actually do it live on the webinar yet, but if you know exactly what to do, you can go ahead and then do the next steps so that you can get rid of your public speaking fear. So my aim for today is to show you the 3 steps so that you know what to do. So I'm going to show you what one thing you're doing right now which makes the fear 100 times worse. So some of you are causing your own fear to be even worse, believe it or not, and I'm going to show you why that's the case. What 5 things you must understand about your fear before it can disappear, and why it's essential that you ignore what everybody else says. This common wisdom is not true. Do the exact opposite of it. And I'm going to share that with you as well, and obviously the 3 golden rules for overcoming your public speaking monkeys, and as Lucy said earlier, what your fear monkeys feed on, and essentially what to give them instead. So stop feeding them what you were feeding them before. So for those of you on the line that don't know me, let me just give you a brief background so you know where I'm coming from. My background really is in corporate marketing. I used to work for a lot of food and drink brands. So as you can see, clearly my passion is food and drink. That's why Lucy and I get on so well together, you see. I used to work at various companies. One of my first company actually was Bernard Matthews. I don't know if you remember Beautiful. And my first presentation ever was to 50 salesmen. I was sort of 20-ish and probably the only female pretty much in the business. And there was, you know, loads of sort of older guys, salespeople. And of course they've been selling turkey for 50 years, I don't know how long. And I launched my product. Not only is it a fish product in a company that's so used to selling turkey, it is also called Willy Wales. So you can imagine how my first presentation went. And then from there I did lots of other presentations, including when I worked for Jacobs Creek. I was out in Australia and I had to give a presentation pretending that I was a master of wine. Trust me, I'm not a master of wine, and I had to guess in front of about 100 people what wine was what was the vintage. And that gave me a few monkeys, it must be said. So I've done a few presentations, and when I launched my business in 2008, I basically was a fan of NLP. Can you guys just pop your hands up if you know what NLP is roughly, neuro-linguistic programming, if you've heard of it, if you kind of know what it is, if you're into it. Oh, brilliant, most of you. Oh, fantastic. So it's really a way of working with your inner mind to help you get more success, like the best practice really of how to use your brain, or a manual for the brain. And I loved it, and I still do love NLP. So I was passionate, and I thought, right, this is my new career. I'm going to leave my marketing career. And after all, I was a trainer in NLP, so surely everyone was going to want what I wanted, right? Anyone else? I'm going to pop your hands down. Hands up if you too think that just being good enough at your job is enough to, or used to think, probably not anymore, but used to think that just being good enough at your job was enough to get you some clients. Anyone else? A few people, yeah. So that's how I came into the world going, yeah, everyone's going to want what I've got. Unfortunately, it wasn't true. They may have needed what I had, but not necessarily wanted it. I had no testimonials. I chose to stop my job and go into my training career. Had no testimonials. I had no clients. It was in the middle of the banking crisis. I don't know how many of you remember that, just 2008. Literally, it was my first week of cold calling, and the banking crisis was on. Not great timing. It's all right, though, because I'd saved up lots of money in my Northern Rock mortgage overpayments so that I could keep myself going while I started up my business. But unfortunately, Northern Rock said, no, you can't have that back. So I found myself without really any funds overnight. And it was in the middle of a pretty serious family trauma as well. And And I didn't really know what my thing is. I was trying to be like every other training company out there. And, you know, when you listen to Lucy about finding your thing, in fact, can we just have a hands up about who knows about finding your thing from Lucy or from other people about kind of like your niche? Who knows what their thing is? Hands up if you know what your thing is. Some of you might be in the process of finding it out or might not have found it out yet, but I didn't know I had a thing or a specialist area that I wanted to focus on. My aim was to be like every other training company, and I thought that was a good thing. I quickly found out that wasn't a good thing, and I needed to stand out and be unique and different. And obviously that's what you guys want to do, and actually by speaking you can stand out and be unique and different. And 4 years later I had done that, and I had stood out, and I had said why I'm different, and I was delighted in November to become Business Person of the Year for East of England. And I've won 6 awards in 12 months. And I'm not saying that to show off, I'm saying that because I want you to know that the process I use works. You cannot win awards if your systems or your processes or your business doesn't work. So some of you out there might be thinking that they have done some sort of public speaking training before, or they've tried to get rid of their fear of speaking before, but it didn't work. And this is what I constantly face, people thinking it won't work for me. But hopefully this shows that the technique and the approach does work. Just out of interest, how many of you, hands up, have already done a public speaking course, but it didn't necessarily work for you, or it only gave you a few tips, it didn't really help you to, you know, really get what you wanted to overcome that fear? Anyone had that situation, or is that? Hands up if you've had that situation. Okay, a couple of you. And hands up if you've done any kind of presentation skills training at all. It might have worked, it might well have helped you to move to the next step, but you're ready to go somewhere else as well. Okay, a few more of you. So I'm guessing the others who haven't put their hands up, I'm guessing you guys haven't done any public speaking training yet, which is brilliant. So fantastic, you're starting at the right place. Obviously I'm going to say that, I'm slightly biased. So let me share with you now what public speaking monkeys are. I'd like to just talk to you then. These are the voices in your head that kind of, when you're just about to get up on stage, or when you even think about public speaking, they talk to you and they say, "You're rubbish, you're going to make a mistake, you're stupid," things like that, those kind of voices. Now please tell me you have them as well. Hands up if you know what I'm talking about, if you have these kind of voices. Hands up if you know what I'm talking about. Great. So a few of you do. I'm not on my own with these kind of voices. And they're kind of, they're really voices of self-doubt. Some people don't hear them. Some people sort of see disasters coming up in their mind that haven't happened. But most people suffer from some sort of public speaking monkeys. In fact, I'm going to be, hopefully, see if I can do this now. See if I can get from you. There's a chat box somewhere. There it is. So in the chat box that you have, if you can find the chat box, could you just give me an idea of what kind of public speaking monkeys that you suffer from? So what might your monkeys say to you? What is it that you're worried about? In the chat box there, if you could just type in, if you've got any public speaking monkeys that you want to share, do it in the chat box now. That would be good, so that I can see what kind of monkeys we have. So I'm just going to have a look at your monkeys. Anyone going to share your monkeys? Okay, so we've got a few people who are worried about forgetting what to say, so worried that they're going to remember everything. Any other monkeys? Let me just share with you what I mean by monkeys. Here's some common ones that people have. Women especially actually tend to sometimes blush or get that sort of redness around their neck. So what if I blush or begin to get really sweaty? Very nice, not very attractive to see that. If you can see your public speaking monkey on this page, could you just pop your hand up? Give me a little look at that. Okay, so some of you, yes, okay, you can see your monkeys on there. What if you forget what to say? What if you're going to bore them to tears? What if you get asked an unexpected question? You know, you've planned everything, and then someone in the audience just asks that awkward question. What if you make errors in the presentation? What if you get tongue-tied, or you forget what to say? Some people, what if you open your mouth and nothing comes out, or you visibly shake? So just a quick hands up if you can recognise some of those, or maybe all of those monkeys. Okay, great. So you know what I'm talking about, which is fantastic. Good. So let's get on with, you probably know your fear well enough. Let's get on with the problem that what you're doing right now, I'm going to assume you're doing this, okay? So I'm going to assume that by having these monkeys, you'll be doing these behaviours that aren't helping. And one of them, and that makes it 100 times, a million times worse, in fact, is by carrying around this monkey saying, I have a fear of public speaking, or you're rubbish, or it's all going to go wrong. You can see around the spiral that it causes you to worry about it constantly. So you're thinking about that monkey, and then you might avoid even thinking about your presentation, so you might leave it to the last minute to do it, and then you don't prepare and let alone practice. You haven't practiced, and then your talk goes badly because you haven't practiced. In fact, all your practice time was spent on worrying, and then maybe the audience either doesn't like the presentation or you feel that it didn't go as well as it could have done, and then you go and home and say, I'm no good at speaking, I told you I hated it, I really hate it now. And what you're doing is you're making your whole worry and concern so much worse. And really you want to get off of this downward spiral. It's not healthy and it doesn't help you at all. So this is very bad thoughts to be feeding your monkeys. Can anyone recognise, hands up if you can recognise this spiral, and you can see to some extent, maybe not the full spiral, but you can see to some extent that you're doing some of these behaviours. Hands up if you can see that that's happening to you. Great, okay, quite a lot of you are saying, yeah, I can see that. Now, even if you're already a strong speaker, the monkeys might come to you at a time when you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, right? Because just because you're comfortable speaking to 100 people, there might be something that's a great opportunity for you that might make it a little bit more challenging for you. So let's take a look at what that might be. So what I did is I got asked to be on the news at 10, in fact, which I was absolutely delighted by. I mean, that's a marketer's dream, isn't it, being on the news at 10? And I was absolutely chuffed. But did I have monkeys when I was on the train going down into London? They don't give you any notice at all. You're literally, asked to do it there and then, and it was on an interesting topic. So just pop your hands up if you think that will give you some monkeys if you kind of were asked right now to go and do an interview on live TV. I would imagine that would give most people monkeys, to be fair. So it's not that you never have monkeys again. Thank you for sharing that. It's not that you never have monkeys again, it's that you know how to handle them. So as long as you push yourself outside of your comfort zone, you will be suffering from some sort of monkeys. I was worried about what might go wrong, what if I say something on live TV, blah, blah, blah. But I then managed my monkeys and tamed them on the train so that by the time I got to the studio, although I only had about 5 seconds on live TV, that's how it works. The interview was for 45 minutes, and actually the interviewee lady wrote to me afterwards and said how inspirational she thought I was, which just amazed me because, she interviews people all the time. So obviously I'd managed to get my point across fairly well, I hope. So let me get on then and say the next piece, which is about the 3 steps. I said that we'd cover the 3 steps to monkey taming. The 3 steps are, number 1 is to catch your monkeys, number 2 is to connect with them, and number 3 is to challenge them. So what you want to do is make sure you do each of these 3 steps all of the time. So if you miss any of the steps, the whole process won't work. And before I get into the steps, I know I talk about the monkeys and I talk about it all in a very light-hearted way, and things we're doing on this webinar will be perfectly fine, but if you get into the monkey taming process and you go ahead and do it yourself, just be aware that the techniques are really powerful. That's why they work. So if you've got any issues to do with childhood, or that you're not entirely sure about your emotional well-being, obviously don't go into this monkey taming process. Go and talk to a professional before starting this. So just a little boring medical warning, but I do take my responsibilities very seriously. Anyway, that's enough of the boring stuff. So let's talk about Frank. He said he was astounded by how easy this training was, and I've got in writing that he said it was funny, so I'm keeping this and putting it on my wall so that I know that at least one person thinks I'm funny. So I'm chuffed with that. Thank you, Frank. So the 3 rules, number 1 is catch your monkeys. And this is really what you must do that everyone else tells you not to do. How many people here, just by a sign of hands up, how many people here have been told to ignore your monkeys, or picture the audience naked, or just get over it, or don't be so stupid? Anyone? Yeah, a few of you. And great, yeah, good. And I'm going to ask again, hands up, how many people think that that technique worked for them? I know Lucy would put her hand up because she does it anyway. So if you're brave enough, you can push through and you can present anyway. It's true. So if one of you has put your hand up and said, yes, it worked for me, I pushed through anyway. And it can work if you're strong enough. The only thing is, you're still not being as good as you could be. You're not reaching your full potential because your head, when you're presenting, is full of monkeys and you're pushing to one side. But when I've trained people, when they follow the technique, their head is, in a good way, empty, so that instead of the monkeys having a go while they're presenting, you can be thinking about the audience, which is the whole point of a presentation, right? Because without the audience, you may as well be presenting to the mirror. So when you get rid of your monkeys, even if you've used the just ignore it approach till now and you're up on your feet and you're doing presentations, the benefit to still taming your monkeys is that you can have so much more space for the audience. You can think about what are their reactions, how are you interacting with them, are they engaging with you? You know, all of this other technical stuff you can be thinking about instead of the monkeys. So there's definitely a benefit to that. But most people, the majority of people, just pushing through is not really, depending on how big your fear is, but just pushing through isn't really an option. So what you end up doing is beating yourself up because, you know, you should be talking, but then you don't let, you know, your fear gets in the way of actually doing and talking. How many people feel like that? Their fear is kind of getting in the way of really where they want to go and where they want to be. Put your hands up if you think that that's happening for you right now, or you think it might be happening for you right now. Great. A few of you. Good. Fantastic. So here's the first rule. You need to listen to the monkeys. Don't ignore them. Don't use tricks. Don't try and pretend they're not there. They are in your head. I know this is weird, but they really are in your head. So they know if you're going to try and trick them, right? Trick them. They know that they can see it a mile off. The second thing is to separate the monkeys and write down exactly what they're saying, and then drill down into the underneath monkeys. I'm going to explain this a bit more in a minute. And I use the 4S monkey checklist. So make sure your monkeys are specific, separate, small, and simple. So what I mean by separating the monkeys, let me give you an example. In fact, let's take Georgie as a case study. So I might say, so listen to your monkeys, what are they saying? And Georgie says, what if you mess it up? So I ask, what's underneath the what if you mess it up monkey? And she'll say, well, what if you get your numbers wrong? What if you get negative feedback? What if you forget what to say? They're common monkeys, right? Some of us have had those before. And then underneath each one of them, there might be another thing. So underneath the what if you get your numbers wrong? What if you get negative feedback? I say, so Georgie, what's underneath that? And she goes, well, my monkey's saying you're wrong. Okay? And you can see how you're wrong follows the 4S rule because it is simple, it's specific, it's separate, and it's a very small monkey. I mean, it might be a chunky monkey, but it's small. It's 2 words. You can see what it is. I'm worried about being wrong. And then we give the other example. What if you forget what to say? What's underneath that? You'll look stupid. And actually, what's underneath that is you're stupid. The monkey's going, you're stupid. So hands up if you kind of get that. I know it's a bit of a weird concept, but hands up if that kind of makes sense to you. Is that kind of clear to you? Okay, good, fantastic, following, brilliant. Now, it's all very well saying this, but I want you to be able to tame your monkeys, and as Lucy said, I've got a free chapter for you from my book. If you want to redeem this free chapter, all you need to do is one of 2 things, either email me or text me. You can email d@dclayton.com, just put in the comments bit, yes please, and by tomorrow I will have sent you over your free chapter. Or you can text, excuse me, you can text to 88802, that's the number you text to. The message you say is 0, as in the number 0 monkeys, get it? 0 monkeys, no monkeys, I quite like that. Then leave a space and then put in your email address, so it would be d@dclayton.com, or obviously not, because that's not your email address, put in yours. So those are the 2 ways, just use one of them, those are the 2 ways in which you can get your free chapter. Now it's not just any free chapter, it's actually the free chapter that goes through this very case study with Georgie. So it shows you all of the 3 steps, all of the words that I'm using, all of the questions to use, so it covers an example of the whole monkey taming process without anything missed out. So it's that case study chapter from the book. So it's really, if you want to go ahead and use that on your own or with somebody else to tame your monkeys, you can do the whole steps. In fact, someone who did the monkey taming process with me is Yeshim. She had to speak in Parliament the next day. Can you imagine that? I think that would give people a few monkeys. What I wanted to show you here was, I just happened to, I was doing a promotional video for my website to say, look, before, during and afterwards. I've just taken a clip for before and after. Can you see her body language? Hands up if you can see the difference. And this is not done on purpose. This is just literally a clip from the video before, when she's telling me all about her speaking stuff, and then afterwards once we've tamed the monkeys. And this is what you're doing accidentally. If you've got your monkeys and your monkeys are taking over or they're nagging away in your head, this woman was totally capable of having a really good meeting one-on-one, with people who are law lords and very senior members of Parliament and Prime Ministers, etc. But she was a bit nervous when she got up and spoke in front of groups. And obviously, accidentally, she'd be doing that body language on the left. So that's one of the other downsides of keeping our monkeys, is that accidentally we might not be doing the best body language that we want to do. So, so you can see the difference in that body language, which is great. So hopefully you'll know that perhaps you might be doing that accidentally as well. So let's go on now to the second step. Before I move on to the second step, I'm just going to pop your hands down. Before I move on to the second step, is everyone clear on that? Can you just pop up your hands if you understand that first step, which is listening to your monkeys, catching the monkeys? Cool, great, good. Okay, good time to say, actually, if anyone's got any questions, we're not going to have time to cover any of them in the session because we're going really speeding through the 3 steps. But I will be hanging out in Lucy's Facebook page, and I'm sure Lucy can share with us, for those of you that don't know it, she can tell us where that is, the forum. I will be hanging out there afterwards, so you can ask me some questions there afterwards if you've got any questions. But it seems like you're all with me and know where it's going, so that's fantastic. So let's cover step 2. Just waiting for my screen to change, but it doesn't seem to be playing ball. It's doing it all the way from the States. That's why it's having a few thinking problems, obviously. So I'll give it a few minutes to think about changing page, perhaps. That would be nice. The second step then is to connect with your monkeys. And connecting with your monkeys is really important because this is often the step that people miss out. So there's 5 things that you must understand about your monkeys before they disappear, and this is all true. You need to connect with your monkeys. So the first thing you need to know is that you need to be able to understand that your monkeys have your best interests at heart. Okay? So they are really all about having your best interests at heart, and they have a reason for being there, which is why if you ignore them, you haven't actually fulfilled their life purpose. It sounds a bit weird, having a life purpose if you're a monkey. But it does. So each monkey is born on a specific date. So something happened to you in probably between 0 and 7, and it's not a big deal what happened to you. It probably isn't a big deal. But you thought it was a big deal at the time. Because remember, between 0 and 7, this is when we're really influenced by a lot of things that go on. And our life is very small between 0 and 7. So often, for example, let me give you an example, that one of my clients had a monkey about reading out loud. And he wanted to read out in church, actually, to do a reading, and he had too many monkeys about it. And when we connected with his monkey, it came from an incident in a classroom where he had been reading a book and reading out loud, and he got one of the words wrong. And all of the fellow classmates started laughing at him, and he felt really stupid. And from that moment, a monkey was born. So can you just pop your hands up if that makes some sense to you, that you can see that a monkey would be born from that incident? So just pop your hands up. So you can see it doesn't have to be a big, ginormous childhood issue. Thank you for putting your hands up. That's great. It doesn't have to be a big, ginormous issue or anything. It just is about something that happened in our childhood, but it was a big issue at the time. The thing is, though, many of us are older than 7 now. Many of my clients who come to me are sort of in their 30s, 40s or 50s, and you've been hanging on to this stuff for way too long. It's so out of date. And that's the second thing about connecting with your monkeys, is that they can be really out of date, and they're often, left from this long time ago. So the other thing is that they love to be drama queens as well, our monkeys. They absolutely love being drama queens. So you can see that they exaggerate things. So you can imagine at 8, these kids started laughing at me, and then it expands into everybody laughs at me and everybody thinks I'm stupid. And then there sort of becomes this belief that I am stupid just because of this one incident. So it gets to be a huge drama queen monkey. So they're often out of date, and monkeys love being a drama queen. So those are the five things that you really need to know around connecting with your monkey. So just pop your hands up if that makes sense for you, so that I know it's okay to go forward to the next thing. Brilliant. Okay, thank you. It's really weird doing a webinar because, normally I'd have my audience in front of me and I'd be seeing it nodding and going, yeah, and you'd be having little light bulb moments going, oh, that was me. But obviously on a webinar we don't have that, so I just have these little yellow hands that are hopping up at me and going, yes, Dee, I understand, which is brilliant. Thank you very much. Right, so let's move on to the second thing. Let me give you an example of what you'll get in your free chapter, the case study. Let's move on again. Same as the case study with Georgia. So here onto the connecting, here's what we talk about. Why would that your stupid monkey have come about? What's its life purpose? What's it trying to protect you from? And Georgie might say, to help me avoid looking stupid in front of people. What age were you when this very first time this feeling came about? Well, about 5, says Georgie. What happened? I didn't want to look stupid in front of people. In junior school, everyone else could read better than me. I had to stand up and read about something, and I couldn't do it properly. I didn't know how. The teacher called me stupid, and all my friends laughed at me. Now, whether the teacher actually did call her stupid, that's her recollection of it. But you can see how that turns into a monkey. Brilliant. So, I just wanted to share with you Lynn, who bought my book and read it over the weekend, and she was really excited to be taming her monkeys. And the bit that she really liked is the idea of these monkeys are green, amber, and red. And she said that it really helped her, even just reading the book and going through it. So if you get the free chapter, make sure you go through and read all about the monkeys, won't you? So what happens, really, in our lifetime? Let me give you a few examples of my clients. And in fact, hands up, who in the audience has got children or little nephews and nieces that they see fairly often? And then I'll get an idea of any people with children or nephews and nieces that are sort of small people in your life, I guess. Okay, quite a few of you, great. What tends to happen is that when we're a child, something happens either at school or home and we get a monkey. And in itself, that's not a problem. The problem is that we keep it or grow it, in fact, feed it throughout our life. I had one client who said to me she didn't want to get married because she couldn't bear the idea of all eyes being on her. And this made me so sad. I mean, really great because I know I can help her, but very sad at the time that it was that impactful on her. Also, there's people who want to go for job interviews and can't do that as well. Because of course, this monkey taming stuff might be for you, but it might be for somebody that you know, your friend, your family, who's doing a similar thing, maybe avoiding job interviews or keep on getting turned down for the job because they're not presenting themselves well on the interview. In fact, one of my clients came to me it was a really interesting job. It was one of these ones where she came to me at interview number 5 out of 9. Can you believe it? 9 interviews. I mean, my question would be, do you want to work for a company that has 9 interviews? But anyway, she got through, they offered her the job, and then she turned it down because it wasn't the kind of company she wanted to work for. But she did, she could have taken it, she wanted to. Interesting. So there's also, presentations. The very fact that I'm in New York now is the direct result of a client pitch. The client that I'm working for out here found me on the internet. They've got an office in Oxford. They found me on the internet and they asked me to come and pitch with another UK company and against an American company as well to train the UK and the US sales team. So did I have some monkeys about that? Of course I did. I didn't know I had the monkeys, but they came along because I was pitching against sales training companies, and I'm not a sales person, I'm a presentation skills training person. So I had my own monkeys about selling, and oh my goodness, of course the sales business is going to beat me at a sales presentation. Hands up if anyone's got any monkeys around kind of selling or saying how good you are. Anyone not quite comfortable yet saying that you're pretty good at what you do? Yeah, and this is really common, you know, and I think maybe more for British people than the Americans, because I've been talking to them yesterday when I was training, and they didn't have a problem saying how good they were. They still have monkeys, interestingly. A lot of the monkeys are very similar. In fact, I'd say they're all very similar, but they were okay with saying how good they were, but they still had the same monkeys underneath. But it's an interesting thing, because kind of to get the job or to win the pitch, you do have to say why you're different to the other people, why that's a benefit. So hopefully, by taming your monkeys, my motivation is for you to be able to get out there and tame your monkeys so that you can get out there and pitch to the people you really want to reach, to get your message out there. Whatever your message is, it's important and you need to do it. So the other thing is, we pass our monkeys on to younger people around us. I've also worked with a couple of parents who said their kids were scared of speaking, and I said, well, how do you like speaking? And they said no. So I agreed to work with their children, but on the basis that I had to work with mum and dad as well, and they had to do a family session, because there's no point, if you're scared of public speaking and have some monkeys, it's very likely your children might do too, because they've learnt those behaviours. So, you know, they might say, oh, I'm presenting in class today, and you go, oh my goodness, aren't you scared? You've accidentally kind of laid on top of their fears already. Does that make sense? Hands up if that kind of makes sense to you, if you're with me on that, you know what I'm saying. Okay, great, few of you, good. So, you know, you might do this yourself, you might do it with your family, however you choose to tame your monkeys. I just want you to tame your monkeys so you can get out there and do your thing. So Lucy said earlier about taking action and going and doing the next step. So what might stop you taking action though? Because estimates say that 90%, somewhere between 70 and 90% of the UK population have a fear of public speaking. But you know, only 3% ever take any action. And then, even those people who have taken action, they may have done action that didn't work. And my passion and my belief is that I want everyone to find it easy and fun to take action, and to take action that works. And that's what I want to share with you right now. So I've developed a special webinar package for people who want to get over their monkeys. So many people, wherever I go, say that they need to get over their monkeys, but the thing is, they can't all do mentoring one-to-one with me, and up until literally maybe 3-4 months ago, that was the only choice in working with me. You'd want to come one-to-one, and that costs between £2,000 and £5,000 to work with me one-to-one to tame your monkeys. And obviously, that's the best way to do it, because we get loads of stuff done. But that's not practical for everybody, and it's not practical for me. I can't do that with everyone. Even if everyone signed up, I can't possibly find all the hours in the day. It's not also possible for everyone to find the 2.5 days it takes to get the result with me. And I'm based in Bournemouth and St Albans, so not everyone can travel to see me. And of course, you know, we've got other things in our life. And especially those of you that said you've got children, you know, your life is, I haven't got children yet, but your life is so busy, the chances of sort of finding 2.5 days to work with me is fairly elusive. So I wanted to find a way that was more sort of chunked down in mini bite-sized pieces, and maybe was a bit easier for those who are really time pressured. So if this is you, a female version or a male version of this person with the monkeys, either stopping you getting up on stage or attacking you just before you go on stage, or a couple of nights before, then I want you to take a look at what I've got for you. The Fear-Free and Confident Speaking 12-week package is all about fortnightly webinars like this, but they'd be more interactive because there'd be less people on the line, and I already would have got to know you because you would have done some home play, or pre-prep as I call it. They're 8 till 9 in the evening, so it can fit in with busy mums, busy business people. Everyone can do a whole day's work and they can still come on the webinars. And you can either follow the schedule, which is what I suggest, so that you keep motivated, or you can go at your own pace, because the webinars are all recorded and they're available within 24 hours. What we do is we uncover your motivation so that if you have a little bump during the 12 weeks, we can go, yeah, but remember why you're doing this, because everyone has bumps, it's okay. The intake starts on Tuesday, which is next week. Cool. That's the last intake for this quarter, and that's Tuesday the 22nd they start. But again, even if you can't make that first webinar, it's going to be recorded, and then the next one will be 2 weeks after that as well. So they're all on Tuesday evenings, but they can be watched whenever you like. What you're going to do is learn to personally implement the 3 golden rules to overcome the fear. So we're going to work step by step through the book I've written, like Lucy talked about the book earlier, and through the award-winning process. You're going to understand your own public speaking monkeys at a much deeper level, and you're going to do the reading and exercises between sessions so that you really optimise your learning. The home study system is online, and what it does is work between the webinars to really embed the learnings. And there's a members-only forum so that you can be part of a community, and I think Lucy will agree how important it is to be part of a community. I've certainly benefited from being part of Lucy's community. So you can ask other people other questions that you're all experiencing, helps with your motivation and makes you feel like you belong to a group that are going through a similar thing. You can ask questions of me in the webinars. You can ask questions to the community in the forum so that you'll never get stuck. You can always move on with your home play. And there's 2 packages, either the basic or the deluxe, and the deluxe has personal coaching with me. But basically we cover all of the topics in the one-to-one that I would do in the one-to-one mentoring. So when I do one-to-one mentoring, I cover all these topics, the end result being you get rid of your fear. And that's the promise of this webinar, is that you will overcome your fear of speaking. That's the absolute promise with this. Of course, there's some bonuses because I want to encourage you into action. First bonus is an ebook, so you'll get a hard copy book anyway with your program so that you can go through the steps and the 3 key steps. But also you'll get an ebook so that you can do it on the train, you can do it anywhere you want. So if you've got a Kindle or an iPad, I can get you an ebook to pop on there. The second thing is, and I don't really like this if I say so myself, is a last-minute confidence recording. So just as you're about to go to your presentation, you can pop this MP3 on in the car or listen to it on the train, and it just reminds you of all the things you've learned during the Taming the Monkeys process and gives you that last-minute sort of confident booster. There's some exclusive tip sheets that I've done just with corporate clients having questions about common things like conference call tips, things like PowerPoint tips, and how to really know your audience and read your audience. So those are things that nobody's seen before other than my corporate clients, in fact. So really they save you loads of time. It stops you making some of the same mistakes other people do. And this is probably the best bonus, which is the post-training personal video review. So once you've finished taming your monkeys, you're going to get out there really quickly and go and do a speaking gig, whether that's in front of your friends, whether it's in front of the video, or whether it's in front of 100 people. Video it, send me the 10-minute presentation, and what I'll do is a review as a bonus. I'll do a review of that for you and cover, the 80-20 rule. What I'll do is I'll help tell you the 20% of things you could focus on to make a real difference. So rather than overload you, with a million things you could improve, here's 3 things, or the key things that you can do that will make a massive difference for you. And that's worth over about £400. So today's offer, just for people on this webinar exclusively, is the 12-week public speaking package. And mentoring clients pay around £2,000 for that. There's the ebook for £20, worth £20. There's the confidence recording worth £40. The exclusive tip sheets, which is worth £15, but really loads of time, so you don't make any mistakes. And the exclusive personal video review, which is £400 worth. So the total value you can see there. But when you get registered today, there's 2 options. The deluxe package is just $9.95, and that includes the online home study I was talking about, and I'll review and observe your work in that online package and make sure that you're on track. Plus personal coaching with me, and you're saving over £2,000 with that. Or there's the basic package here at $4.95, which includes the home study and the online learning again. There's no personal coaching with me, but I still will look over all your home play and make sure that you're on track, because the guarantee is to lose your fear at the end of the time. So that's less than 1 or 2 posh coffees a day. So who can resist that? And as a fast action bonus, there'll be a £400 bonus coaching voucher with me, again, after you've tamed your monkeys, so that we can really hone in on anything you want to do in terms of speaking. So that's just for the first 2 people who make action today. So your investment today for between £2,500, £3,000 worth of value, you might choose the £500 495 version or the 995, but you're saving loads of money compared to the one-to-one mentoring. That up until now, that's the only option that's been available. And there is a satisfaction guarantee, so I guarantee that you will be so happy with the results after only 2 webinars that if you're not, you'll get your money back, no quibbles. So if you want to take action, sign up here. Which is, there's a link here which hopefully Lucy's going to paste into the little box for me so that you can just easily click through to it and find your way. But if you don't have that link, then you just go to this link here, which is www.dclayton.com/page, it's a bit long, /kick-start-fear-free-confident-public-speaking. By the time you finish this, package-special. By the time you finish typing that in, you'll really know that you want the product. Lucy, hopefully, at some point will be sharing that little link so that you can take a look at that page for us. What you'll see when you go through to that page is that all of the details on that package, and you'll see everything that's available. It's really what I've just gone through now, but hopefully you can see that page.
Just to say,
the offer is available.
I have posted a link for everyone.
Oh, thank you, Lucy.
It's in the chat box rather than the questions box, so it should be at the bottom of your little admin thing.
Brilliant. Oh, well done. Super. Thanks, Lucy. That's perfect.
No worries.
That's lovely.
I'll go back to being quiet
now. Brilliant. So the offer's available today. The fast action bonus is only for the first 2 people. If you've got any questions about it, please find me on Facebook, or you can email me, d@dclayton.com. And while I'm in New York, my PA, Sophie, if you've got any urgent questions, if you want to sign up but you've got a question about it, then call Sophie tomorrow, or you can email me and I will get back to you. But if you sign up right now, you can get started on your home study tomorrow. Imagine that. You can get started really, really quickly. In fact, you could get started today if you've got the free chapter. So I promised you the 3 steps. The 3rd step here is all about challenging your monkeys. We'll come back just at the end to summarise if you want to know a bit more about the offer. But for now, the 3rd rule is all about challenging the monkeys. And that's about learning from the original event. It's about taking the monkeys to court and breaking down their false logic in the monkey's argument. And this is all about specifically worded questions. So let me go back to that case study I told you about, which is following Georgie and her "You're stupid" monkey. How do you know you're stupid is one of the questions I'd ask her. Obviously, she doesn't really think she's stupid. She just has a monkey that says she's stupid, and that's why it's a monkey, because it's not true, but part of you thinks it's true. And so she said, because I never went to university and because my mum told me so, because I lost my place in the presentation. If you took it to court, so I imagine like a little bit like Judge Judy, yeah? Took it to court, would the monkey have any evidence against you? Well, yes, I must be stupid because I haven't got a degree. I did get a bit lost in my presentation last time I did it. So I might say, what evidence do you have to the contrary? When haven't you been stupid? Well, I work with numbers all day. I'm very quick, so I know I'm not stupid. I just felt a bit silly when I lost track of where I was during the presentation. So in what way is the monkey being ridiculous? I only lost track once. I only got after I got the number wrong, it threw me. No one except me noticed I was lost. This is interesting. Most people don't notice. It's just you. I suppose if I was clear on the structure and had easy to read notes, I could easily get back on track. How many people said you're stupid? No one. Just my mum at that one time. And how many people have never mentioned that you're stupid? Well, everybody. Church, people at home, buddies, friends, neighbours, etc. And has anyone said you're clever? Yes. And what we tend to do is not take on the positive feedback. So here she is talking about her positive feedback. And then I love this last line. Why didn't you believe them? Do they often lie? And that gets people because they go, actually, no, they don't often lie. But you have to have done the other 3 steps in order for this step to work. So, hands up if, actually before I go on to this, hands up if that makes sense then. Hands up if you understand then how those challenging questions can help you get rid of your monkeys, but only if you've gone through the first couple of steps first. Great, okay, so you're getting it, brilliant, fabulous. So, what to feed your monkeys on instead, once you've tamed them, and even actually while you're practicing taming them, so you can start doing this from right now. Instead of doing the downward spiral, which was I showed you earlier, which was I hate speaking, what I want you to at least do now is, I mean, after you've tamed your monkeys, you're going to be able to say, I enjoy speaking, I know how to prepare, I think about it in plenty of time, I consider my audience. And you can go around that really positive spiral. Now, right now, today, that might be a bit much for you, so the challenge I'm going to ask you to do from right now is to at least say, something a bit softer that you can believe, like, this is going to be okay, or I'm okay at speaking. You know, if you can manage something slightly positive, that's still a better start than being on the downward spiral. Now, if you don't think you can do this, let me just finish off by telling you about Leonora, who used to faint before she got up and spoke in front of people, literally faint. And she worked with me. This was one-to-one coaching on the deluxe package. She worked with me, and she spoke at a huge conference a little while ago, a few months ago, and she won clients as a result. So if she can do that, and she's an accountant, by the way, you know, and people say that the content of accountants' work isn't always interesting. So she got over her fainting thing. She hasn't got what some people might say, she hasn't got the best content, but you can make any content amazing as long as you tame your monkey. So if she can do it, my cry is for you guys to do it too. So the 3 rules: catch your monkeys, connect with your monkeys, and challenge your monkeys. And that's very simple, but you just need to go ahead and do it. Get outside of your comfort zone. This is me doing a stand-up comedy gig. So whatever pushes you to feel more monkeys, then do it. And as my finish, I guess, for me, and I'm going to hand back over to Lucy, or she's going to take over, one or the other. The finish from me is my email address is there, so ask for the free chapter. Or if you've got something urgent about buying the either of the 2 packages, contact Sophie tomorrow on that mobile number, or I'm back in the UK on Thursday, but I'm available on email. The offer with the bonuses is only available today for the next 24 hours, so that will finish at 9 o'clock, whatever time it is now. It will finish tomorrow after 24 hours. The fast action bonus will be the first 2 people. And if you've got any questions, then hop on over to Facebook, which Lucy will tell us about in a tick, on how to get over to that site. And remember, if you sign up now, you can start doing your home study either today when you get the chapter or tomorrow, so you can get starting your taming your public speaking monkeys. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for Lucy. And I'll hand over to Lucy now. And thank you very much for joining me, and good luck with taming your public speaking monkeys so you can get on stage and stand in your spotlight.
Thank you, Dee. That was great. I just want to let everyone know, Dee, I might put you on the spot here, but with your offer, because I know how many people registered for the webinar, and I know a few people couldn't make it live tonight. Can I ask you to extend it for 48 hours?
Of course, Lucy. Anything for you.
I'm such a big person. Maybe until the end of the week. Obviously, the people who were amazing and showed up today, and I love people who, you know, show up and do stuff live, to the point where I sometimes stay up late to listen to things in America, and there's something about being on the line live. So absolutely, you guys are very likely to get in there if you want to grab that extra coaching with Dee for the £400. But yeah, because I know there's some people on the recording, and we'll probably send that out either later tonight or tomorrow, I think it would be a little bit mean to make them watch it immediately.
Yeah, no, we don't want to be mean. I
don't like being mean.
Let's say Friday, 9 o'clock Friday
night. Let's say Friday, the end of Friday, so that's cool. I will let people know when I send out the link. So look, if anyone's got any questions, I put in the little chat box my Facebook, which is, if you're not already connected with me, head on over to Being a Business Celebrity, or even if you jump on to Dee Clayton's Facebook or mine, Lucy Whittington, I am sure we can hang around for 20 minutes and answer questions if you've got any about speaking. So I'm going to let everyone go now, because we've done our hour, and I don't like to keep people away from what they've got to do, whether that's a glass of wine or getting on thinking about their monkeys. Mine might be the wine. So, thank you so much, everyone, for showing up. I've really enjoyed listening to that. And I just want to make it very clear now that I don't do the Feel the Fear and speak anyway. I have had, as Dee has, we've both worked with some brilliant speaker trainers. I know many of you know I've been to the States and worked with Lisa Sasevich and also Joanna Martin, and I do so much now around being in the right energy. And from what I've learned, when you deal with you and you get you in a great place, like the content just flows to the point where sometimes if you ask me what I've just said, I don't know, but I know it was good. And that's a great place to be. So thank you so much, Dee. I enjoyed hearing about the monkeys. And anyone wants to come chat with us, we're going to go hang out on Facebook now, and we will see you there. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Lucy. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.